Here we go. There we go. Oh, come on, baby. Come on. Come on with it. All right. Not huge, but he'll start the video. We put the boat away, and I'm crawling around on the rocks for you. But when fishing from the shore, a lot of times you have limited access to the water, right? So they usually are going to be heavily pressured, the spots that you can have access to, and sometimes the fish aren't biting on all kinds of different baits. So I really like to use a finesse rig that I can really feel out the bottom, because I want to learn about the grass, rocks, what the contour is in that area, but also I want to have a nice finesse worm like this Mizmo Baits Doodle worm, and that way I know I can even get the most heavily pressured and sluggish bass to bite as well. So let's break down this little drop shot technique, starting with rigging. One of my favorite setups when fishing from the shore is just a very lightweight drop shot rig. So I've got, I tied the little Palomar knot, and my tag end, I usually like just about 6 inches. We've talked about, doing some 12 to 18 inch leaders, but I really like just that shorter length. Oh, there we go, we already got one. I like that shorter length because of the fall and just the way I can really feel out the bottom down there. And then I line up with about 6 to 10 pound mono or fluorocarbon. Once again, we're on a finesse setup here, so I really want that natural little fall I get from that lighter line. And then I pair that up with a nice sensitive rod. So I like about a 7-foot, medium light, fast action rod. That allows me to do 2 things that I'm trying to achieve here. The first one is I want to feel out the bottom. So I want to feel out if there's any weeds down there. I really want to feel out if there's any rocks or anything like that, because I need to understand what's down there. If it's just mud, then I don't want to fish that side. I want to get to where there's a little bit more bottom to it. And then I need that soft tip also to feel these subtle bites. A lot of times, because these fish are so heavily pressured around here, they're not actively feeding. And so you want something you can just, as this bait's right in front of them, they just mouth it, and you want to be able to feel those subtle little bites. So when retrieving this, there's multiple things going on. First, the second I cast that out, I want to count how long it takes for that bait to hit the bottom, because I'm really trying to figure out what the different depths are. And if some place is really shallow, I'm getting bites, then I'm really going to key into that. But if I'm getting bites real deep, I'm going to want to make sure I spend more time in that. So you really want to know how deep it is. So that's why you're counting as that bait sinks. Then as you're moving that bait along the bottom, you want to keep your rod tip, pretty low, because you want that weight dragging along. As that bait drags along, you'll feel any grass down there, any rocks, and you can really understand where the cover is and where the structure is and where these fish are relating to. Now, if you catch up in any grass or anything like that, what you can do is you just lift your rod tip up a little bit, and you can pull that bait free. And once that bait pops free, you'll feel it get loose, and then it'll fall back down to the bottom. And usually that's gonna be a good area, because you just came out of some kind of structure, so you should get bit more frequently in those kind of areas. Okay, so there's 2 things happening as you're using this bait. First, you got it wacky rigged, right? So as that bait is sinking on this light little 3/16 ounce weight, that doodle worm is actually kind of wiggling down. As it's going down, it's really got drawing tension to itself. And then when it hits the bottom, it actually expands back out. A great action from even, it's even gonna get interest from bass that aren't really actively feeding. Then as you scoot that bait along the bottom, every time you move that bait, it slowly pinches that bait, because it's pulling from the middle. So those 2 ends kind of pinch together, and then when you stop, it spreads back out. Then you pull it again, they pinch, and it spreads back out. Just a very subtle retrieve to it, and this can be absolutely lethal. And you'd be amazed at some of the big fish you can catch using this small little setup. Now, we've talked about, because you're kind of limited to only those public access places, a lot of times that's where a lot of anglers are going to be. And so by using a real subtle bait like this doodle worm, you can really finesse some of these fish that these other anglers are just passing right over. Another thing is, one of my favorite places to fish, and this is something you guys should definitely, if you don't do, definitely hone into, are launch ramps. Okay, launch ramps have man-made structure. They always have some deeper water near them because they're dredged out right there. and they can be a magnet for bass, but also all the big bass in the lake get brought there. When there's huge tournaments, when there's 100 boats go out there and they all catch the 5 biggest fish they can, all 500 of those bass end up getting let go right in that area, and that can end up getting loaded with fish. And even if small little impoundments, small little lakes where they don't even have tournaments, a lot of anglers bring fish back in their live well, at least the biggest fish, to take a picture and stuff back at the launch ramp. And so when they're done taking the photos and stuff, they're gonna release that bass back in the water right there at that launch ramp. And within a day or two, that fish is gonna be ready to feed again. That's gonna be your game. There we go. Right out in the middle there. Right on the launch ramp. Nice. It's all about just making these fan casts and really understanding what's on the bottom down there. Because when fishing from the shore, you can still have a lot of good days. And you just got to use something. If traditional stuff isn't working, if your crankbaits, spinnerbaits, all that stuff isn't working, slow down and go to a downsized little drop shot setup using this little Mizmo Doodle worm, and you're really going to be able to feel out the bottom and then also entice some of these less active bass. And at the end of the day, you're going to learn more about the water you fish, because you're going to learn where the little rock piles are, where the grass is growing, how deep it is. And so it's a really good way to educate yourself on your waters, and you're really going to know how to fish them and really learn that much more about what's going on down there. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below. Make sure if you guys want to see more shore fishing videos, let me know. And like always, throw us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, for any details on the equipment or any other stuff we're using in the video, check the description box below for a link. Here we go. There we go. Oh! Come on, buddy. He was a little guy though, but let's give him another chance. But see where that fish was? He was right on the shoreline here.